Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Montague again. I am going to give you an overview of Google Classroom in this video. So we're going to jump right in because there is a lot to cover. First thing you do is go to classroom.google.com and that is going to load your dashboard. So you can see I've got a bunch of different classes that I'm both a student in as well as classes that I have created or am a co-teacher in. So there's an easy way to create a class, which is just to click the little plus button right here. You can either join a class, and if you do that, it will ask you for the class code, which is something I'll show you where to find later. And if you click plus and then create a class, you will be required to give your class a name. You can give it a section number. So for instance, if you had more than one American history class, you could say section A and section B to differentiate between those two classes. You can give it a subject, and you can also give it a room number in case you want to let students or parents know where in the building your class is located. So I'm going to click over on my sample class right here, and I've got a couple things built in already, but I will be walking you through each thing and showing you how to do everything there is to do in Google Classroom. So the first thing that you'll notice is that we've opened up to a page called the stream. And you can see your class code right here, right below the title of your class. So this class I just called sample class for this video, and then that's my class code if I wanted to invite anyone else to join that class. You can select a theme for your class. They've got a bunch of built-in themes and different categories, so you can look through those and see if you find anything that you might want to put in there. You can also upload your own photo for your class theme, which I like to do. It gives it a little bit more personalization. But then the overall part of this section here is your stream. So you can see I've already got one post made that said, "Hello, welcome to the sample class." And my one student that I added is my husband, and he says he's happy to be here. So he commented back on that post that I made. So you can see right here, it says share something with your class. If I click on that, it's going to open this little box where I can create a new post. So this first drop-down menu, you can see that you're posting in this sample class. You can see that there are the other classes that I'm listed as a teacher or co-teacher for that show up. So if I, let's say, had 2 class periods of American history, again, you could select both of those periods, both of those class periods to share your post with. So you wouldn't have to go into each class and double your work. You could just duplicate that post into your second block of that history class. You can also select which students you want to send this post to. So you can select only specific students see it or all students in your class see it. You might want to say only specific students see something if you're doing something like sending specific feedback on something, or you're giving different people in the class different assignments, things like that. I found it very useful in the unit that I just co-taught with Mr. Westmoreland to post documents that had all of the feedback on their project presentations from their classmates all in one document, easy to access. So I shared that document with specific students in my class rather than the whole class. You can also go ahead and put a description here. So I'm just gonna make a post really quick so you guys can see what happens. So this is my second post for this class. Woohoo! You can add anything from Google Drive here. You can add a web link to any website here. You can also upload any files you might have saved on your computer, or you can put a YouTube video attached to the post as well. So this is just for like any general announcements, any kind of information that you want to share with the entire class at once is very useful to post in the stream. You can also use this for discussion posts as well. So you have the ability to turn on commenting for students so students can actually talk to each other and talk to you you've got a few options here as far as posting goes. So if I just clicked post right now, it would post instantly, and all of the class students would be able to see the post as soon as I clicked that. If you do the drop down, and let me move my face out of the way here. So if you do this drop down, you'll see you can post instantly. You can also schedule the post to come out. So if I click on schedule, I can pick the day and the time that I want this post to show up, and then it will post automatically for me. You can also choose to save your post as a draft. So if I do that, you can see that now I've got this saved announcements option at the top. So if I click on that drop down, I can see that I have my second post for the class saved as a draft. I can delete it from here, or I can click on it and continue editing it and decide to post it if I want to. So I'm going to say I'm going to post it right now. And then you see I've got two posts made in my stream. So one interesting thing to note, if you click on this little hamburger over on the right side, you can move a post to the top. So if you've got like an announcement that you make multiple times throughout the semester, you can choose to move that post back to the top of the stream so you don't have to just keep making the same post over and over again. You can also edit your post, delete your post, or copy a link to your post to send directly to people. And you can see as well that class comments are turned on here, so anyone can comment on these posts that I've been making. So I'll jump in a little bit more to the settings, which I'll exit out if you didn't see is the little gear here on the right corner. You can see here I can edit any of my class details, and this gives me an option to add a class description if I want to. I can also see my general classroom settings. So I've got my class code here that I can copy. You can copy it. You can choose to display it or not. You can reset it in case you need to like send a new code for any reason, or you can disable it, which means that no students would be able to join your class at that time. You can also use your stream to either let students post and comment. You can make it so students can only post comments on posts that you've made, or you can set so only teachers can post or comment. You want to be careful with your settings here. For virtual learning, having the ability for students to be able to comment is very useful. So if a student would say ask a question on one of the posts that you've made, one of the lessons that you've posted, you can reply to that student and the whole class will see that additional instruction that you're providing for students who may be too shy or maybe not willing to ask their question electronically. So that's a great way for everyone to see what's going on and keep everybody in the loop. You can also choose how classwork is going to be displayed on the stream. So when you post an assignment, it also posts in the stream as well. So you will see different announcements as well as different assignments, and everything goes into that stream. So in the stream, you can actually choose to not show any classwork notifications at all. So those will be exclusive to the classwork tab. Or you can show short little condensed notifications, or you can show the full assignment and details. It's just up to you how you want to set that. If you choose to show deleted items, make note that only teachers are able to see those, and you can toggle that on or off. And there's also this cool option to include guardian summaries. So you can invite student guardians to be part of the class, which I'll show you a little bit more later when I get to adding students to your class. But these guardian summaries are really cool. It shows them a summary of any work that you might have graded in Google Classroom, any upcoming assignments, upcoming topics, and all these different things. So you can just use that toggle switch to put that on or off, and it's as simple as that. And if you want to see an example of what a guardian summary looks like, you can click on that link right below. As far as grading, you can decide to weight your grades, you can calculate by total points, or you can choose not to grade at all in Google Classroom. I'm going to go ahead and just put in total points here. If you select weighted by category, you'll have to add your grade categories in and determine those weights. So like if you have quizzes that are going to be weighted more heavily than classwork or vice versa, you might want to do those weighted grades, and then you can add all your different categories and what weight they hold right here. You can also choose whether or not you're going to have the students be able to see their overall grade, which you can toggle on and off here as well. So that's the brief overview of the class settings. If you've got any questions about the settings, just let me know. I'm going to discard my changes because I don't really need to make those changes right at the moment. I'm going to go over to Classwork now. So Classwork is where excuse me, you assign any assignments or quizzes, discussion posts, anything like that to your class. You can use the Classwork tab for that. So I'm going to just right now go ahead and click on Create Assignment. You can see I can do an assignment, a quiz assignment. I can ask a question, I can post material, and I can even reuse a post. The cool thing about reusing a post is that you can actually use posts from other classrooms or other past classes that you've created. So any of the posts that you've ever made are available to you with reuse post, which I think is really cool. So I'm going to click on just new assignment right here. And I'm just going to give it a title, and we'll say this assignment is how to use Google Classroom. You want to include your instructions here, but you can also add anything from Google Drive, a link to a website, a file, or even a YouTube video. So that is completely up to you on what materials you want to include. And you can add more than one thing. So I've had assignments I've posted that have all of these things included. So I'm just going to really quickly add something from my Google Drive so you can see how that looks. And I'll just add this intro to G Suite that I created for another video. So you can see that now I've got my Google slideshow attached, and I can select whether students are going to be able to view the file, students are going to be able to edit this file, or I can choose to make a copy for each student. So what you're doing with that material determines which of these you're going to select. So if it's just something that the students need to view the slideshow, you can keep it at view. If you want all the students to be editing on the same slideshow, you can select that students will edit that file. And then when you make a copy for each student, so let's say that each student will have to make a Google Slides presentation using this template that I've provided. You can make a copy for each student, and then Google Classroom will automatically make that copy and save that file to the student's Google Drive Classroom folder. So that one's really useful if you're sending out a document that students are going to have to fill out answers for, if students are going to have to make a slideshow, anything like that, that you're using kind of a template for them to fill in. You'll want to make a copy for each student. Again, with assignments, you can choose which classes you want to have it posted. So you could select both of your American history classes if you had the same assignment for both classes. And you can also select which students you want to share that assignment with as well. So for Battle of the Books, for instance, I send out quizzes to my students students have read different books. So I'll send a quiz for a certain book only to a certain student using that feature, which I think is really neat. You can also create your point assignment here, and you can put however many points you want it to be worth, or you can determine that this is going to be an ungraded assignment. You can select your due date, and you can put in a time as well. So you might say that you want it to be due Monday at 3 p.m. So whatever you want, you just put in there, and it will make it due at that time. And it will send out notifications of students who turn in their work late as well, as long as you keep up to those due dates. Sorry, I didn't mean to make myself so big. I'm going to move myself over here so you can see I can also add a topic for my assignment. And these are really useful for organizing your assignments to be able to quickly find things. So I keep going back to the American history class example. So if you had an American history class and you wanted to create your topics, you might do something like unit by unit. So you've got maybe a topic on the Revolutionary War, a topic on the Civil War, et cetera, and just focus on which main topics you hit throughout the year. I'm going to actually create a topic really quick so you guys can see what that looks like. And this is going to be my tech skills topic. One thing that I also think is really cool is that you can add a rubric to assignments. So rubrics are really great to allow students to see exactly where they need to be at in order to achieve top marks for assignments. So you can create a brand new rubric right here in Google Classroom. And if I click on that, you see I get this window open where I can put all of my criteria that I'm grading by. I can give a description of the criteria. I can assign however many points they could potentially get for that criteria. And you can level it as well, which I think is really cool. So if I put it in here, all 4, I can say that I have students who exceed expectations, and then students who meet expectations, students who are reaching expectations, and students who are below expectations. And then I can put in the requirements for each level. So this one I might say is worth, let's say 4 points. This one gets you 3 points. This one gets you 2 points. And this one gets you 1 point. So you can get a total of 4 points in that section, and 4 points means you're exceeding expectations in that area. So, and then down here, I'll get rid of this little box. You can see you can add more criteria as well. So you can judge a presentation on overall organization. You can judge it on works cited, et cetera. So all kinds of things you can do with the rubric. I'm just going to discard that. You can see in my plus rubric section here, I can also reuse a rubric I've already created, and I can also import a rubric that I might have created in Google Sheets. So that's really useful to have it built right into the assignment so the students can never lose track of that rubric for the assignment. And then that's pretty much it as far as creating an assignment. Then you want to go ahead and assign it. So like the stream, you can assign it now, and you can also click on the drop down and you can schedule it to come out later. You can save it as a draft, or you can say, oh, never mind, I didn't actually want to create this assignment, and you can completely discard it. So I'm going to click assign right here so you can see what happens when it pops up. So now in my Classwork tab, I've got this tech skills topic that I've just created, and the first assignment is how to use Google Classroom. If I use this drop down, I can continue editing this assignment. If I realized I've made a mistake, I can delete it, or I can copy a link to it and send that directly to a student if they need it. This drop down here next to my tech skills topic also lets me rename my topic, delete my topic, or link a student to this topic as well. And what's really cool about this, if I link this topic to a student, the link they click on will take them to all of the assignments that I have under that specific topic, which I think is pretty neat. You can also view your Google Drive class folder. So each classroom that you create will also create a folder in Google Drive that corresponds with the class. So if I click on that class folder, it's going to take me to Google Drive. And I don't have anything in here yet because I haven't created any documents that the students are going to be working on or anything like that. But any student work that they turn in, or even if it's student work that they're still working on, you can do progress monitoring and see their final products as well. And it is all going to populate into that class drive folder. And the Classroom also integrates with Google Calendar. So if I click on this, it's going to take me to Google Calendar, where it has created a calendar specifically for this classroom. So I can see any due dates I might have added, any upcoming assignments, things like that is going to show me in the calendar. If I go right over here to people, that is going to be how I add students to my class. So you can see that I've already added my husband, Mr. Decker, and I have myself listed here as the teacher. So if I click on this little plus person over here, I can invite additional teachers to be part of my class. So the teachers, like it says down here in this disclaimer, can do everything that you can do in the classroom except for delete the class. So you won't invite somebody and they'll delete your classroom. That's not possible. But you just start typing their name. So let's say I'm adding Jason Forrester. So I start typing Jason and he pops right up here for me to add. Once I've selected him, I can click invite, but I'm not going to do that because he doesn't need to be invited to this class. You can also add students the same exact way. When you click on the plus button, you just start typing their name or their email address, and it should pop up for you to select from. One big thing to mention here as well, you can see right next to my student that I have in here that I have the option to invite guardians. So that's really neat. It gives us a way to get parents involved in their students' classes. They are able to see what's going on, what kind of assignments they're doing, and you can communicate with parents through the Google Class as well, which I think is awesome. If you select the students, you can choose to remove them from the class. You can send them an email, or you can actually mute them, which means that they will not be able to post anything in the class or anything like that, but they will be able to see your class content. And then last but not least, we've got the grades section. So you can see that the one assignment that I've got in here so far is how to use Google Classroom. And this is me clicking on that assignment. So you can see that it's been assigned to my one student. He has not turned it in yet. So once he has turned it in, I would be able to see that he's turned it in. It will keep the count of who's turned it in and who has not. So you can see which students have late assignments very easily and get in touch with them. But back to our grade book here. So you can see it's going to probably create a column here for each assignment as I put it in. And all I have to do to grade somebody is simply click in here and add their grade. So let's give him a 100 out of 100. And then I can choose to return that grade to him. So he'll be able to see the grade, or I can choose that he'll be able to, or I'll be able to view his submission rather. So if he submitted a slideshow for this and I clicked view submission, it would open his slideshow so I could view his work before I graded. On the assignment up here, the 3 hamburgers up here, you can edit the assignment from here. You can completely delete the assignment, or you can choose to return all the grades that you've put in for the assignment all at once, so you don't have to go through each individual student returning grades. And that is really it as far as Classroom goes. Again, it's a very, very useful tool, especially, when we're doing this distance learning and all of the virtual education that we're involved in right now. So as usual, if you've got any questions at all about using Google Classroom, I am here to help. You can get in touch with me by email, give me a call. Send me a Google Calendar invite so I can meet with you. Send me a message on Google Hangouts. I'm here to help.